Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the number one source for the RV GCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RV GCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RV GCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter. Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter, and welcome to Goldilocks Global Banking News. I'm your host. Folks, more. Más. In Spanish. People are scheduling appointments, sharing success, excited about the feedback that they're getting from their wealth managers, newsletters where they receive emails. Yep, emails directly from the wealth management firms about what's happening in the global markets related to currencies. You want to talk about an email notification? Our members are already getting them. Emailing actually back and forth with wealth managers on many different things related to their wealth. There's 8 steps that we share. You can click the link at the top of the description and join the Goldilocks QFS Dialogues Room, and we will share it with you, and we will show you the way with the guidance on how and what to do to establish relationships. Your first relationship is at the actual bank, the Tier 1 bank. We have 8 steps, folks. Click the link at the top of the description. You're more than welcome to come on in. Wipe your feet. Get the dirt and the dust off. We will show you the way. Now, folks, today, Goldilocks is sharing some very powerful information regarding Vietnam. More and more from Vietnam heating up, getting hotter and hotter, and also related to Goldilocks is sharing information related to bonds. What type of bonds? Stay tuned. First, Vietnam. What Goldilocks is stating is that the central bank of Vietnam actively manages the Vietnamese dong exchange rate. See, Vietnam, Iraq, and other countries literally control the rate, meaning the central banks specifically. Like here in the U.S., we have the largest economy. Our central bank doesn't control the rate of the U.S. dollar. But look how the U.S. dollar is so strong. Well, it's getting weaker. It's getting a lot weaker. But the reason why the U.S. dollar is as strong, not as strong as it used to be, but let's just follow me. As strong as it is because the open global market, supply and demand in the global markets, meaning through trade, one of the reasons is because the open markets control the rate, the stability of the U.S. dollar through supply and demand. The rate is determined through supply and demand. There's other factors as well, like Treasury notes and things like that behind the dollar, and it being the world's reserve currency and things of that nature. But the reason why the US dollar is not the reason, one of the reasons why it is as strong is because the United States has what's called an open market access, or a market economy, where basically, folks, the United States has an open door policy for any and every country that wants to import goods into America. They can do so. But we aren't able to import or export our goods into other countries because they have restrictions, like Vietnam and Iraq and others have restrictions of now allowing us to come into their countries. Well, that changed recently with Vietnam. My point is this. Goldilocks is sharing that there are what are called free trade zones. Free trade zones, meaning that countries can freely trade their goods with each other with no restrictions. So, Vietnam has developed these certain free trade zones, which is driving the value of the Vietnamese dong to another level. The development of free trade zones in Vietnam has the potential to support the increased value or rate of the Vietnamese dong by attracting what's called FDI, or foreign direct investments, boosting exports, and integrating Vietnam into the global supply chains on the water through trade. We even have a member, amazing young man, Tai Too Pretty, who just the other day, his wealth management firm included him in a meeting that discussed foreign direct investments. See, these free trade zones allows countries to freely trade amongst each other with no restrictions. But the difference between how it used to be not before and how it is and will be moving forward, specifically with Vietnam, is that they will not control the value of the Vietnamese dong, meaning the central bank of Vietnam will not control the value of the dong, but they will begin to allow the dong to begin to float, and they will manage the float, gradually allowing it to appreciate in value because of these what are called free trade zones. Now, for those of you who understand math, which I'm sure all of you do, I'm going to share with you a comparison that Goldilocks is providing. Vietnam's trade activity in the first 7 months of this year, 2025, showed a significant growth, driven by the tariffs and strategic trade negotiations within these free trade zones. So far, year on end, Vietnam, their exports rose almost 15% since the same time last year, resulting in almost $10 billion in additional trade. Their economy is growing. Why? Free trade zones. Vietnam's push for a U.S. trade deal and tariff reductions aims to counter the 20% tariffs that Trump put on them. And they're still negotiating. No matter what the media outlets say, Vietnam is still negotiating with the U.S. with an attempt to reduce that 20%. All in all, the pressure on the Vietnamese dong to increase in value is evident with these free trade agreements because Vietnam is opening their economy. This is why we continue to tell you, hold on to your dome. Now let's get to these bonds. Bonds, bonds, bonds. There is what is called blockchain bonds. What Goldilocks is showing is that the idea that blockchain is becoming the new bond market stems from the transformative potential of blockchain technology to reshape how bonds are issued, traded, and managed. While blockchain is not literally replacing the bond market, it is introducing innovations that address inefficiencies in the traditional bond market. Now, for those of you who don't understand what a blockchain is, which I'm sure most of you should, blockchain is the new digital banking system. Your digital asset regulations that were just passed in the U.S. Congress, that's all part of the blockchain. See, folks, bonds have a maturity date. Traditional bonds, treasury bonds, certain bonds have a maturity date. It could be a 10-year bond, 20-year bond, whatever it may be. Blockchain and the new traditional bonds won't necessarily need to, because they will be on the new digital banking system and also backing our currencies in the new banking system. See, folks, not all bonds are created equal. In dinar land, that term, bond, that four-letter word creates a trigger and excitement in so many people. Bonds, real digital bonds that are now being integrated into the new digital banking system, are the real bonds associated with the revaluation also of currencies. We're moving into a new digital banking system where all assets will be tokenized, meaning the digital representation of a physical asset, such as gold, silver, agricultural products, such as commodities. Yes, even bonds are now being digitized in the new banking system. Those bonds are like, you may have heard of Ethereum, digital electronic versions of bonds. Again, folks, not all bonds are created equal. These are what are called crypto bonds, which are real bonds. Just like your bonds, like treasury bonds, they're real, that you can get at the bank. Some through your employers that have offered them, that can be obtained through your retirement funds, through the government, which are acquired at your banks. There is no other way that you can purchase legitimate bonds on the internet. That doesn't exist. I'll leave it at that on that. But real bonds, folks. So, folks, knowing that we are moving into a new digital banking system, which is a blockchain, now blockchain bonds, crypto bonds, are being moved into the new banking system. Every single day, more and more is happening in the banking system, preparing it for the inevitable that we all await. Just so you know, just think of, put this in context in numbers. is that there is an unlimited ceiling for bond growth in the new digital banking system. Meaning, as these bonds, these digital bonds, are now interfaced onto the new banking system, whereby our currencies will be. This is another reason why floats and currencies will continue to occur because of gold in the system, other commodities in the system, banking system. And now we have digital bonds being interlinked and onboarded into the new digital banking system. The continuous strength that is being added to the new banking system is to assure that our money in the new banking system is secure. Of course, the banks will protect themselves, but the blockchain, decentralized, private, is where we will have our privacy, and these digital crypto bonds will back it. Many of our members are having conversations with their wealth managers regarding crypto. If you're not interested in crypto, that's fine. At least you may want to know and understand what backs the currencies that you hold. Be well, beautiful folks. We will see you on Saturday Night Dialogues. We are going to bring more receipts in writing about the pending currency revaluation. See you then, beautiful folks. We love you.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.